Hey, what's going on, you guys? So sadly, it's that time of year again. Summer is ending and school is about to begin again. At least where I live. I know that many of you are already back in school, but for the most part back to school is at the end of August or early September, and that is coming up, unfortunately. It's time to say goodbye to relaxing and sleeping in until ungodly hours in the afternoon, and hello to miserable early morning wake-ups and annoying teachers. Good times. But I know that a lot of you guys watching this will be starting high school this year and are probably a little scared and nervous about it. So as a high school graduate, I thought that for this week's video I would give you guys a few tips and tricks that I learned throughout high school and want to pass on to you guys so that you guys can get your high school career off to a really good start. Man, I sound like a teacher. Okay, first thing I want to say is if you're really scared and anxious about high school, I want to say, don't be. Take a deep breath in right now. It's going to be alright, I promise you. You don't know it yet, but you're about to start the best 4 years of your life, and before you know it, it's going to be all over and you're going to wonder what you were ever scared about. First things first is if you're really overwhelmed about the whole thing, don't be. Your very first day of high school is not going to be diving right into work right away. It's going to be a very chill, kind of relaxed, informative day where like students and staff are going to tell you how high school works, give you a tour, tell you about credits and all these courses and stuff, so you're going to learn pretty much everything you need to know on the first day. If it's anything like when I started high school, you're probably going to get a high school senior student who's going to put you guys into groups and then lead you around the school, give you a tour, kind of tell you about all the different things you can do, all the resources you have access to. Like, they're just gonna basically be like your wingman for high school for the very first day. Like I said, if you guys have a lot of questions, the first day is the day to ask them, and they know that. Like, they're expecting that, the students and the staff. Like, that's why the first day is really informative, is because they know that you guys are starting something new and you have a lot of questions. So that will be the time to ask them. It's their job to give you guys a nice smooth transition into high school, so it's going to be a lot better than you think it will be. If you're scared about starting high school, either one of two things is happening. Either one, you're going to a brand new, unfamiliar place, and yeah, that can be a little scary. Or two, you're scared because your teachers have told you guys a bunch of scary stuff about high school, about how intimidating and serious it is. And if that's the case, your teachers lied to you. I remember before I started high school, my middle school teachers told us a bunch of scary stuff, that high school was gonna be totally serious and intimidating, and that we weren't gonna have time to go to our lockers during class, that we weren't gonna have any free time because we were gonna be so swamped with work. And it didn't turn out to be like that at all. I found out later that they were all liars, and I think they tell you that to try and instill some kind of like intense work ethic into you to try and prepare you guys for high school, but honestly, high school really isn't that different than what you're already used to. In all honesty, nothing really changes from middle school to high school. Like, I found that high school teachers actually were a lot more accommodating and nicer than teachers I'd had in middle school and elementary school. And don't worry, you are still allowed to go to your lockers during class if you need something, and the bathroom, obviously, you just have to ask. Oh, and that's another thing, lockers. You actually finally get to upgrade from that crappy little cubby hole you have to an actual locker, and that is the best thing ever. But yeah, nothing really changes. You still go to class, you still get classwork, you still get homework, unfortunately, you still have to study before tests. The only really big differences I can think about is that you get to pick your own classes and you have exams, and I'm about to break both down for you real quick. So the cool thing about high school is that you get to pick your own classes for the first time pretty much, and there's two types of classes you need to know about. There are compulsories and there are electives. Again, you'll learn about all this on the first day, but basically compulsory classes are the classes everyone has to take, so that would be English, math, history, science, you know. Elective classes are classes that you can choose to take if you want to, if it works in your class schedule, and there's usually all kinds of really cool elective classes. Like in my high school, there was food and nutrition where we got to learn about food and make food. Like, we got to actually cook our own food, which was really cool. There's a media arts class where we could take pictures and make videos. There was a construction class where you could go build stuff. Like, there's all these other options, and it's so much fun. With the help of a teacher, you get to make your own class schedule, and once you're done, you get a nice little printout of it that you can keep in your locker that tells you what room to go to, who your teachers are, what time your class starts and ends, so it's really there to help you out. So now, on to exams. Basically, exams are one giant test of everything you've learned in that class that you take usually at the end of the semester. And I know that that sounds really scary, but honestly, it's not that bad. Basically, you get about 2 to 3 hours to write them, and like 70% of my exams were multiple choice, so those are pretty straightforward. The written parts were pretty straightforward. Like, as long as you're paying attention in class during the semester, you don't really have too much to worry about. It all kind of links together, and yeah, you'll figure it out. One thing I do want to say is never leave a question blank. I do not know why people do that. I never knew why my friends did that, but for some reason people leave questions blank if they don't know them, like while writing a test, and that is the stupidest thing you could ever do. Like, you have nothing to lose. You should at least write something, and the off chance that the teacher will give you a half mark or a full mark if you don't know the question at all, it's not worth it to just skip it and leave it blank. Like, then you'll get 0. Like, you may as well try to write just something, just in case, like even anything you remember from that particular unit or question question, like just write something the off chance you'll get some kind of half mark. I mean, you have nothing to lose, you may as well write something. I should mention that you don't have exams in every class, like all the compulsories have exams, but for the electives, a lot of electives don't have exams. If you're scared about how hard the schoolwork will be in high school, like you think it's going to be really difficult and you don't know if you'll be able to do it, don't worry, you'll be able to do it. Like just know that if they didn't think you were ready for high school, you wouldn't be about to start high school. You would have failed like grade 8 or grade 7 and then retaking it. Like the fact that you've made it to this point where you're starting high school means that they think you're ready. So take a deep breath and tell yourself it's going to be alright. And high school work isn't particularly difficult or hard. Like just remember that everything you've done in middle school is to prepare you for high school. So you'll find the work is pretty much the same. One super important thing I want to mention is the difference between academic and applied, and those might be called something different where you live, but where I live in high school there's academic and applied. And basically what this means is academic is a school stream that prepares you to go to university after high school, and applied is slightly kind of easier classes that prepare you to go to college. And why I wanted to tell you that is because sometimes schools don't really make that clear. Like for me, I didn't know until the end of grade 10 that that was a thing, like, and thank goodness I found out before I started my senior years that actually mattered. But my brother didn't actually find out until after he graduated, and it turns out he wanted to go to university, but he doesn't have the academic grades or credits to do it, so he has to redo high school basically right now, which is kind of crappy. So make sure right off the bat you know the difference between academic and applied. They will tell you all about it on the first day, I hope, because you deserve to know, but that's something to keep in mind if you know you want to go to university or you know you want to go to college. Make sure you pick the right stream of classes. Typically there'll be an applied science class or an academic science class. Like they're usually either an academic or applied version of each class, each compulsory I should say. So make sure you look into that and know the difference because it is so important if you want to go somewhere after high school. And speaking of college and university, one thing I want to mention is to take your high school work seriously, because if you guys do plan to go to high school or university after, your high school marks do matter. The schools will be looking at those. They look at your senior marks more than your junior marks, but your junior marks do still matter because they will look at those. So do make sure that you set aside some extra time for studying or for doing projects, because those marks do matter. Like this is the time where you have to start, you know, really doing your best in school. And I don't want to stress you guys out with that, but that's just something to keep in mind, is that if you guys want to go to college or university after, you do need to get good marks and they will be looking at those. So try to treat high school very seriously if you can, your work that is. So that's all the advice I have to give on high school and high school work itself, but I do have other bits of advice to give as well that you guys need to hear. So here's the thing, even though we go to high school because it's an educational place and we're there to learn and stuff, there is still a really big social component to high school. Like our friends are there, our classmates are there, we have lunch break where we can hang out with people. And then there's a thing called cliques. If you've watched Mean Girls, you know all about cliques, but basically cliques are groups of people within the high school that kind of congregate together. Like classic examples you've probably heard of are jocks, nerds, you know, like that type of thing. And you will find that cliques will be a lot more prevalent in high school than they ever were in middle school. And if there's one takeaway I want you guys to learn from this entire video is this, so make sure you listen closely. I want to tell you guys to not get caught up in the popular crowd. In each and every school there is the popular kids that everyone looks up to and wants to be accepted by, and I'm here to tell you that that is the biggest waste of time you could ever spend if you want to try and be a popular kid. I know they seem cool and you probably want to be accepted by them for social status or whatever, but I want you guys to take a step back and ask yourself, why are they popular? Like seriously, pause this video right now and ask yourself, why are they popular? Like why do you want to be like them? Is it because they slack on their schoolwork and get bad grades? Is it because they party on the weekends and underage drink? Is that why they're cool? I can't speak for all popular kids, but when I was in high school, that's basically what made the popular kids popular, and honestly, you don't want to be a part of that. One of my biggest regrets of my high school career was spending my junior years trying to get noticed and accepted by the popular kids and going out of my way to do so when it turned out to just be a really big waste of time. But I never really felt right hanging out with them. Like they weren't like me, we had nothing in common, they didn't really pay attention to me, like they just kind of tolerated me. Like they never really talked to me or paid attention to me, they just kind of let me sit with them, and that just, it didn't really feel good to me. At the end of grade 10, I finally had the realization where I was like, why am I putting so much time and energy into trying to impress them and hang out with them when I know that I don't even like hanging out with them? Instead, I started hanging out with an old friend from elementary school who I stopped talking to when I was trying to become popular because he wasn't considered popular. But I found that when I started hanging out with him, I enjoyed hanging out with him a lot more than any of the popular kids. And through him, I met his group of friends who I really meshed well with. Like they were awesome. and they, honestly, I'm still friends with them to this day. Like, they were the best group of friends I could have ever found in high school, and I was just a perfect fit with them, an even better fit than I was with the popular kids. I didn't even care about the popular kids anymore because I just loved hanging out with my new group of friends so much. So my advice here is to not get caught up in the popular crowd. They will be there, like I promise you, every school has them, they will be there, but just try not to pay attention to them because the things they do that make them popular are really not anything to be proud of. It's just a big waste of time, and you should just be yourself, find a group of friends that you guys mesh well with, and I promise you that everything will work out. One thing I do want to mention is that you will have access to guidance counselors at high school, and basically guidance counselors are kind of like mini therapists that kind of help you out with life. Like if you have questions about what to do after high school, like pathways to do, they will help you answer that. If you have questions about school, high school and credits and schoolwork itself, they'll help you answer that. If you have problems, you know, balancing school and work, if you have a part-time job, they will help you find that balance. Like they are like therapists in the sense that their job is to help you guys organize and balance your life so that you can have as much success in high school as possible. So don't hesitate to book an appointment with one if you feel like you would benefit from that. They're usually found in a place called Student Services. Every high school has one, so you just go there, book an appointment with them, and you can talk to them and they will help you out. Also at your school, there's likely a social worker, and I really want to mention this because I really wish I'd known this when I was in high school, but I didn't find out unfortunately until I graduated. But basically a social worker is someone who helps you out with life. Like if you have problems at home that's getting in the way of you doing well in school, they will help you sort that out. If you have issues with depression, anxiety, any of that, and that's getting in the way, like their job is to listen to you and help you out. Like they will not judge you. I promise you they will not. That's not their job. Their job is to help you, not to judge you. So if you feel like you'd benefit from a social worker, do not hesitate. They are also Student Services, I believe, where the guidance counselors are. You book an appointment with them as well, and they will help you out. So if you ever feel overwhelmed during high school or have some issues, do definitely go find your social worker and book an appointment with them. They will help you out big time. That's something, a really important thing I think you guys should know about. So definitely look into that. I feel like this video has been going on for probably like 20 minutes, but this is my very last piece of advice, and that piece of advice is to enjoy every minute of high school that you can. You guys need to realize that this is going to be a really fun time in your lives. Like you're going to have your friends around you every single day, your classmates. You'll be making new friends, taking fun classes, yada yada yada. There's lots to be excited about. And don't get me wrong, there will be frustrating moments. Like there absolutely 100% will be, where there'll be an annoying teacher that is driving you crazy, where you get a low mark on a test and you feel down about that, where you'll have to cram a project last minute and it won't be your best. Like there will be those moments, but it's important to appreciate even the negative moments because they are part of the experience. High school is an experience, and even though senior year and graduation seems so far away, I promise you that it'll come right around the corner before you even know it. I can 110% guarantee that you will definitely miss high school once it's done, so do make sure you enjoy every single second. I know that I definitely miss high school, like pretty much every day. It was such a fun time in my life. If I could, I would re-experience it all over again in a heartbeat. Well, except for math, that I wouldn't re-experience. I know you're like, really Mark? I will never miss high school, like I hate it so much, but trust me, you absolutely will, and like in the future you'll be like, wow, Mark was right. So do enjoy every single moment. Also be sure to enjoy every single moment of seeing your friends and classmates every day, because I hate to be the bearer of sad news, guys, but you have to realize that once high school is over and everyone starts going on their own personal pathways to college, university, or the workforce, or what have you, like they're gonna move far away and you're not gonna see them as often as you do every day during high school. Like you might only see them once a year or something. So it's important to really appreciate having your friends there every single day and having your classmates there. And just really enjoy that, because once high school's over, you're all gonna go on your own pathways and you won't see each other nearly as much. So enjoy this experience of everyone being in the same place at one time for you guys to go talk to and hang out with. It's really a special thing. And you'll probably even miss the school itself. Like you'll miss the hallways, you'll miss the library, you'll miss the classrooms. Like I know me personally, I miss my high school's library so freaking much. It was the most relaxing place in the world and I wish I could hang out there like every day. So enjoy every moment, even the bad ones, because they do shape you into the person you are and they are part of the experience. So just take it all in and be excited, because once you graduate, you have one of these to look forward to wearing. So, I mean, who doesn't want this amazing fashion accessory? I mean, you have to be crazy not to want this. So anyways, that's about it for this week's video. That's all the advice I could give. I'm really scared to see how long this video is gonna be. I'm sorry if it's like over like 15 minutes, but I just have so much to say about high school because it really was one of the best experiences of my life, and I want to make sure that it is the best experience for you guys as well. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments below if you have any questions at all, like any questions, do leave them in the comments below and I will answer them. I'm sure there's a few things I missed that I meant to talk about, so if you guys have some questions I didn't answer in this video, do not hesitate to post them below. I will answer them. Also, be sure to like, comment, and share this video if you enjoyed it or think someone else would find this video helpful who's starting high school. Make sure to share that with them. And if you guys are on my channel for the very first time, hi, my name is Mark and I post new videos every Tuesday. This video you're watching is pretty different than what I usually do. I usually post comedy or relatable stuff, skits. So if you guys are interested in that at all, please make sure to hit subscribe. And I will be doing a giveaway at 1,000 subscribers, so please be sure to hit that subscribe button and get us closer to 1,000. As always, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. All the links for that are down below and at the end of this video. Good luck with starting high school for those of you who are starting. It's going to be a great experience. You're going to wonder what you were ever scared about. It's going to be good. I promise you it's going to be good. So I'll see you guys next week for another brand new video. Bye! Pardon on what happens if I'm talking to someone who is cheering for any other country than my own. You can't even joke to me about my country losing because this is no laughing matter. Oh no, this is war.